Greetings from the eccentric Raven. I am happy to announce that at the time that I'm filming this, it is just right after midnight of Friday, October 24th. So it is now the very beginning of the 72-hour readathon known as Hallowathon. And it was created by Donna mariereads. So just for a brief intro, she has this game board, and the way it goes is that you roll your dice or die. I'm going to use just one die. And move your piece on the board. I'm going to be using a knight from chess. And you then pick your self-care or reading prompt based on that. I actually need to go to bed soon, so I'm going to use this to start out to pick the prompt that I'll be doing tomorrow. First chance that I get, possibly during break while I'm at work and after work. But I am so excited to get the ball rolling, or that is to get the die rolling. Alright, so let's get started. Let the game begin. One! Woot! So when it comes down to my options for dark cover, I have Monster High by Lizzie Harrison. So this is like part of Mattel's Monster High franchise. And I have 1922 by Stephen King. And I have Cut by Patricia McCormick. And this one is about a pretty serious subject. So when it comes down to them, I think I'll choose this one because this will be easier for me to read on a weekend. And it's also what I'm kind of the most in the mood for. I think this will best fit the Halloween vibes. The year is 1922. Wilfred James owns 80 acres of farmland in Nebraska that have been in his family for generations. His wife Arlette owns an adjoining 100 acres. She wants to sell her land, but if she does, he will be forced to sell his as well. James will do anything to hold on to his farm, and his son is willing to assist. Together they commit a gruesome crime to keep the family homestead intact. Hard for me to read right now. I do need to go to bed now, but tomorrow I will be reading this every chance I get, and once I read it, I will then roll again. And it should be a pretty quick read since it's like, 131 pages. Alright, this will give me some hunting fun. So far I've read 24 pages of this 130-page book. And whoa, it was a really intense beginning. This is the story about where, in the year 1922 on this farm, there's this husband and wife who are disputing over the land that they own, and she wants to sell it, divorce, and leave with their son. But he, however, convinces the son to be an accomplice in killing her. So it's very, very dark. It's pretty gory. I hope it doesn't give me nightmares. I don't normally read horror because of that. But it is so very beautifully written so far. It's very eerie. I know it's interesting when I read stuff or watch stuff from the point of view of the killer. I mean, here I just read the Martian Chronicles, and in that story there actually are a series of murders that take place. And we do get to see the point of view of the killer and the justification they give. And it's interesting the way that it's dealt with in this book, where it's like basically the main character, he sees like the killer as like another persona known as the conniving man. So it is interesting dealing with the psychology of these very evil beings. So a very dark story, but at the same time I'm really interested in seeing what happens. So I'll be having a lot of fun tomorrow reading this, or maybe I should say I'll be getting a lot of scares tomorrow while I read this. Oh man alive, this book. I just now finished it on this Sunday, almost 7 p.m. Pacific time zone. Yeah, it took a while for me to read because it is kind of slow paced. Even though it's a short book, it was still a bit slow paced. And I do admit that so far from reading Stephen King, I have seen kind of the problem of his kind of dragging out annoying conversations. However, as a horror story, it is pretty brilliant. In it, the main character, Wilf, he convinces his, son to help out in, killing, his wife, Arlette, because of the dispute over their land. And, yeah, he's worst dad ever, duh. And so it is all very dark story, very, from the point of view of, the killer. And one of the impressive things about his way that it uses the motifs of the rats, where I'll try to not get into spoilers, but see, a fun science fact, when a human dies and is, exposed out, to, the elements and all, rodents and other small animals will be very quick to start eating at the face, eating at the tongue and eyes. And so here in this case, the rats that come in to start, eating the face of the dead body end up being a motif in this story, as the main character sees these rats wherever he goes, and there's a bit of a kind of a psychological kind of factor behind them of like, wait, he's like, it's almost kind of Telltale Heart kind of like, it's like, oh, the dad is talking to me. This is what his dead wife is doing as a way to talk to him beyond the grave, like mocking him. Just, threatening you won't get away with this. And, and I like how at the very ending, like, it does kind of leave the question of like, was like the supernatural actually involved? Or was it really just all in his head, like, which is a theme that I've seen before with, some other horror stories. And overall the story is just really sad. But it definitely had a very, eerie, creepy feeling, and it went pretty well with, the Halloween season. So I'm going to see how much I can do before it's bedtime, as I do have, work tomorrow. So I'm going to roll the dice again, see where I move my piece, and hopefully I'll get to do at least a couple more things before I need to go to bed. We'll see. Alright, here we go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh! That's a good one, even though I won't finish it tonight. See if my books that match with the title of having either dead, blood, or bone in the title. I have this here, Blood Beneath the Snow by Alexandra Kennington, Bone Shaker by Sherry Priest, Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, and Children of Blood and Bone by Tommy Addy. Stupid stickers. So, I'm going to be reading this one here since it's the shorter one. And by the way, each of these books would fulfill our fantasy bingo squares. I'm going to first start reading this one here, see how I like the first chapter, and continue if I like it. Unfortunately, that one's a no-go. After reading the first 12 pages, I'll have to DNF it. It was promising, it had potential, but I did buy that book before I started my new rule of where I read the first 2 pages before I buy it. And I did see some red flags just a couple minutes ago as I started reading the first couple pages, and I thought, I can tell there's going to be a problem when it's focused too much on world building over showing the character in action, and it tried. It did show the characters in action, trying to do something, making a decision to do something, so it tried. I want to give it credit for that. See, I thought, well, one of my favorite books, Defy the Stars, which I read a couple of years ago and I loved it. It did start out a little telly, a little info dumping, It became one of my favorites. So as I was reading this book, Blood Beneath the Snow, and it was getting a bit telling with things, I thought, well, that's not too bad. Maybe I'll give it a chance. I've read worse. But what put the nail in the coffin for me was the bad dialogue at one point. So it's a bummer. I wanted to read it for the Our Fantasy Bingo Square for release in 2025. Hard mode would be a debut novel. Well, I'm going to have to pick something else. Well, this now leaves me with the choice of, do I pick one of the other 4 books I could choose, or do I just roll the dice, go to another square? I think I'll do the second. Try to finish this readathon strong, even if I only have like an hour or 2 left to do something. Okay, up at something good. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A book that gives you fall or Halloween vibes. Oh. Well, I was already interested in Something Wicked This Way Comes, so I might as well go there. I only have an hour left before I need to get ready for bed, but I'll see how it goes, see how I like this. Alright, so far I like this. So yeah, I made a good choice with this one. I'm definitely coming to really love Ray Bradbury's writing style. But it's late right now. I do need to get ready to go to bed, go to work tomorrow. So I will, of course, continue reading this. And also for the rest of the week, I'll be reading this, Fahrenheit 451. So I like that, how I'll be reading these consecutively. So I think that most likely once I finish this, then I'll be done with Chaosoween. Yeah, the other readathon that I'm in for October. Alright, so if you participated in Donna's 72-hour readathon, Hallowathon, let me know how it went. If there's anything you read in October that you'd like to share, please feel free to leave a comment. If you've read any of the books that I read, please feel free to share. Let me know your thoughts. And if you made it to this part of the video, please feel free to leave a comment with a Halloween thing, like either a pumpkin, ghost, witch, or vampire. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Take care and good luck, or as Brian Regan would say, take luck.